is a fenced off area, so that our dogs can be off leash, and often they train entirely by hand signal, like a 50 feet away from us, and they must be able to complete those signals only by hand, no voice command. So they're highly trained. And in order for us to be able to train at that level, we need to have an area, within which many neighborhood dogs are not going to be running in on them in order for us to do that. And it's very, very difficult to find an area now that we can do that kind of high-level training. And our dogs, are not the kind of dogs that are going to run around and sniff and play with other dogs. They're there to work, and that's what they're trained to do. And the other thing, of course, we don't want to block anything off from any other individual that has a dog. So we would only be using a very designated area, so that people in Palo Alto or any other area where we might be training would have the whole rest of the park. It's not like we're asking to exclude them or to take something away from them. That's not our objective. Our objective is only to have an area where we can have what we need just to train our dogs to compete in the high levels of AKC obedience.
What does that stand for?
I'm sorry. Oh, the American Kennel Club.
Oh, okay.
That's the organization that actually sponsors all the dog shows.
We train outside because a lot of it's the American Kennel Club Obedience is the name of the sport, and we train outside because many of our trials or our competitive matches are outside in public parks or over at Hayward State. So we do need not only a place that's similar to what we're going to encounter during the trial, but also we need to acquaint our dogs with different venues so that nothing is new when they get there. So that's why we do like to move from park to park to give our dogs a chance to acclimate in different spots.
And where do you ladies live?
I live in Menlo Park.
Okay.
We live in Los Altos.
Okay.
Most
So
of
all
us
locals.
in Palo Alto.
Okay. Okay.
There are
Awesome.
6 of us that are a group that tries to meet once a week, and one's from Woodside, 2 are from Los Altos Hills, one's from Mountain View and Menlo Park and Palo Alto.
Okay.
We supply all the equipment. We bring all of the
The fencing.
Everything
Enclosure.
and set it up. The other thing, one of the kind of bennies that we provide with the park is that before we set up our rings, one of us will walk the entire perimeter and pick up all of the poop that's been left there.
Is that a lot?
Yes,
Sometimes,
yes,
at times
it is.
you have a lot of off-leash dogs
Yeah,
that are in those
and
parks.
people aren't as responsible. Some are not as responsible as others. So we will go through before we set up our rings and pick up all the poop that has been left behind. So we do a service as well.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Keeping this, the parks clean.
One of the other concerns I know is what happens with dog fights. I know that's a big problem with off-leash dogs. Our dogs are confined when they're working with us in that gated off area. So neither can other dogs come into that area, nor can they leave. When we are warming up outside the ring, we have them on a leash so that they are well controlled. And if you can see in that picture,
This one?
the other one.
the other one.
We were training Wednesday, and
This is good.
this was me and my collie, and we had someone with a muzzled pit bull type dog on a leash who was barking and lunging at us. Well, my dog alerted, and then because he's very highly trained, we turned the corner and he kept going away from this dog. So that we keep, by having those ring gates, we keep any contact down to a minimum.
Makes
even
sense.
with off-leash dogs running up to us, because that has happened before.
The other benefit is that
Which park was this?
This was in a park in Menlo Park.
Menlo Park. Okay.
the other benefit is that almost every time we are training, somebody will stand and watch and ask, where can we get training for our dogs?
Okay.
Yeah,
And I have business cards that I hand out.
Sure, sure. Okay.
We belong to a local dog training club, and we offer classes for the public.
Sure.
And in fact, I've been an instructor for over 20 years.
I've
And
instructed
Ann's been
too.
an instructor. So we've all got, our dogs have had intensive training, and we have all had so much experience working with dogs that, you
And
know,
we all compete.
yeah.
at high levels.
Mm.
So what we're looking for is permission.
Yeah.
Permission to set up.
So do you guys not have permission right now? Or what happens?
For Menlo Park, if we're anywhere in Palo Alto, we're usually, animal control comes and talks to
Oh,
us.
really?
Tells us we
Okay.
can't have off-leash dogs.
Even with the fence?
Even with vets.
Oh.
And see, it's imperative that for our dogs to be 50 feet away from us, and you're, as a handler, you're
Yeah.
50 feet away from the dog.
Yeah.
The dog's sitting here.
Yeah.
You give a hand signal, and
Yeah.
that tells the dog, go jump over that jump. And they know what to do,
Mhm.
but they have to be off leash to
That's
do
right.
it.
So,
That's where's that?
so you guys have never done this before in Palo Alto, or you have, and it just
No,
every
we
time-
have, we
yeah,
have tried
we've
every
just
park
been-
in Greer Park, the one at Coverly,
Uh-huh.
Pierce Park,
Juana Briones.
Juana Briones, and we've been,
Now been
Asked to leave.
asked to leave all the parks.
How, isn't there a park in Palo Alto that's like, there's dog runs?
yes, there is a dog park. However, it's not large and
You can't train
you
them.
can't train there. The footing is dirt, dog poop. Other dogs would be running up to our gates. And I don't think it's fair we need a 40 by 50 foot area.
Hmm.
And it's not fair for us to take over that much of a dog park and exclude the other people who are going there.
I see. So what do other cities do?
Pardon me?
What do other cities do?
Mountain View used to give permits. So you could buy a permit where you could train off leash at certain of their parks.
Certain times, yeah.
Yeah, I have not heard. Unfortunately, you're the only one that we contacted. Mountain View, Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Los Altos Hills.
Mhm.
You were the only one who had the courtesy to even respond to us.
Mhm.
So we're still fighting the battle of city hall.
So what do you guys do now then?
We go to each other's homes, or sometimes we'll go and take a corner of the Menlo Park.
And Menlo Park's okay?
We have not had a problem there, but they're not okay. I mean, they have the leash laws too.
Oh, I see.
So we kind of skate on thin ice there.
Hmm.
But we only have 2 homes now that are large enough for us to train.
That's
And it's
kind
not
of big,
appropriate.
big home. I mean,
Well,
Well,
40 by 50 foot in the backyard of grass. is
And
what
flat, has to
Okay.
be flat.
yeah, that's amazing. My yard's not that big, so
Yeah.
okay.
So it's just a real,
There's a park in, I think it's Cupertino actually, Calabasas Park. Cupertino. Now, we have trained there some, and we have not been run out.
Okay. So
It's not
so
Palo
you'd like
Alto.
to see like some sort of permit in Palo Alto where
Yes,
okay.
And since Palo Alto has great parks,
yeah,
and
that's
the
right. And they're
bathrooms
big
are
enough for us
spotless,
Mm.
and
to,
they're halfway between all of us,
Yeah.
one from Woodside down to Mountain View. So, and those parks are really ideal, well groomed, well maintained.
and they're big enough for us to, to set off a place where we wouldn't be in the way of any other, people who wanted to.
How much are permits in Mountain View? You guys know?
I'm
I
sorry,
don't. Do you remember what the permits were in Mountain View?
it was like,
it wasn't very much.
oh no, it was like $10
$10
per
or
year.
something.
And
I
it
had
was
one for a
a
long
year,
time.
but, and it was restricted to 3 parks.
Mm.
One of the problems that we have is we need to be close to parking because we have so much equipment that we
Yeah.
need to set
Yeah.
up, all those gates.
Mm.
Yeah.
It takes
And all the
18 gates
jumps, Yeah.
to
So we
set
have
up
to
that.
be able to carry those things.
So which parks? Well, what are the most sparsely populated parks
In Palo Alto?
that has the parking you guys want?
Yeah. Coverly would be good because it has
Coverly.
easy
Coverly,
access.
But is it heavily used?
It is heavily.
Okay.
But
What,
there
what's
is a cornering near the south end of that park that is not used for soccer. It's sort of a dead end.
Juana
Wow.
Briones is
Briones is
ideal.
Yeah, one of
And it's-
Brownies, yeah.
is that pretty heavily used?
No,
No, and it's
Very little.
you can park right at the curb, and so you don't have to carry your
Pierce
all this
Park is also a
heavy
good
stuff.
one. It's,
Yeah, Pierce Park.
it's very lightly used, and where we set up is well away from the childcare and the tennis courts and the playground.
Okay. Okay. Have you guys? So I have a suggestion for you, just in terms of how we can make this happen. I have not seen this request before, so
I'm sure.
so I think what I would recommend is to work with Park and Rec Commission. Have you guys approached them?
Yes,
Okay.
when we,
Tried.
Yeah,
we
yeah, Mountain
heard
View.
no response.
No, I mean for Palo Alto Park and
Yes.
Rec.
Oh, yeah, no,
When
yeah.
we contacted you, we contacted the mayor, the city
Uh-huh.
council, the parks and rec person, and the city manager.
Well, okay. I think here's what I would suggest: contact to make headway on this. Because this is kind of like a
Yes, parks and rec.
it's a Park and Rec. I think also it's just like just to me being for council's attention. What I recommend is you meet with you send an email directly to the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
And the person didn't respond.
No response.
Yeah, we
Your
worked
assistant
very
was the
hard
only
on
one who
this.
responded.
We've sent to Mountain View, Parks and Rec.
No, I mean, but you sent it to that person individually. Did you try calling him?
The park commissioner.
The chair of the Parks and Rec Commission.
I probably did. I mean, I looked up to see who was
The chair.
the person in charge. I don't know what it was called.
Okay,
Mostly
you should find out who the chair
Mostly
is.
they're called commissioners.
Yeah, the Parks and Rec Commissioner.
That's who I sent it.
The chair though, and ask them if they could get this onto the agenda, because that's what has to happen, right? On council, it's two. This is going to it's going. I mean, unless it goes through a commission, it's probably not going to make the council
So
agenda.
they're the ones that would agendize the item.
Well, first they have to get it on their agenda,
Right.
and it's easier to get something on their agenda than on the council agenda.
Yes.
So, so what I recommend is talking with, and you have the phone numbers posted, so you can just call them too.
Right.
But talk to the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission. It sounds like you guys have a very specific. You can say one is burning on this area, you know, we're only pay this kind of permit fee, you know, restricted this location. That's what has to happen, and then they could talk about it. And then they would make a recommendation to council. Upon council, we wouldn't even hear it. It would just be a consent item.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's kind of like the process.
Okay.
You know, are there a lot of people who object to this though?
I have had nobody
Nobody?
in the years that we've been
Ah.
training. No, in fact, people watch us.
Okay.
because they're amazed
But we're
at
getting
what
to
it
know
does.
Ken real well from Animal Services.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, so that's even a better. Well, I mean, besides you, is there anyone else in Palo Alto that's part of this group? No.
Oh, Farrell is the only
Farrell's-
Palo Alto resident.
Oh, okay. So you need to get more people, right? I mean,
Well, we don't want more
But
people.
we-
well,
they're very-
I'm saying you need to get like, well, you ask your neighbors, right? You should talk to your neighbors and try to get them to, because
We need more endorsements of locals.
well, what I'm saying is you need enough residents, right? Because
Yeah.
and you work for the residents, right? So you just need more residents who would support this, right? And we got to work with the Parks and Recs Commission, the chair, get it agendized. What was the guy's name? Animal Services, Ken? What was it?
Ken is
Ken,
the
I don't know what his last
Okay, so Ken, yeah, so
Animal control.
so maybe say, hey, you know, tell him what you guys are doing. You have his contact information.
No, he contacts us.
Okay,
Yeah, he
okay.
In
finds
person
us.
at the
Okay.
park.
Okay, well, so basically, you could also make suggestions in terms of, hey, can we get this on a Parks and Rec Commission notice, right? Now, really, I mean, you guys aren't in the city necessarily, so you're gonna have to do it. But basically, that's what you want to do to make this happen.
Yeah, and part of the difficulty though also is that there's very few of us, whether in Palo Alto or Mountain View or Los Altos,
Yeah.
that train this intently at
Small
this
group.
comparative level.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the way you have to think about it is, like the way things happen is how many people want it and how many people oppose it. That's typically the way it happens, right?
Yeah,
So the good news is it doesn't sound like a lot of people are opposing it, which is good.
Mm.
So you just need.
yeah.
So really, what you compete against is not some opposing group who doesn't
Right.
want this, but you're competing against is just everyone's agenda is like packed, right? Especially council's agenda.
Yeah.
So to make stuff happen, you got to work with the commission, and the commission has the time to figure this
Yeah,
out. But even for them, you know, they have agendas too, and so
Yeah.
to get into their agenda, you got to get enough
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
momentum. Yeah,
Thanks for that.
yeah. So
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening
you
to
very
us.
much.
And do you want,
And this
shall we
is for
leave this
you.
with you or?
No, it's okay. I think you guys should. You
We
should
can
use this.
take that
You
to
should
the
take it.
park.
You should definitely do that.
Okay.
And here's the other thing: you don't even have to. You don't even have to get a meeting with them. You can just show up at the meeting and talk to them.
Oh, okay.
So that's another way. Like I
So
would
they
recommend
have like, some of the people from
every
the
commissioner
forum
does. Yeah. So I would recommend contact the chair and show up in the next meeting. All of you guys put speed cards in, talk about it.
Terrific.
Yeah, that's how you get it going.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, good
Thank
evening.
you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks for your help.
Yeah, of course.
We'll be in this room over here. Do we want to put this on Facebook?
Yeah.
Right there.
Hey. Good to see you guys.
Yes, good to see you again.
Actually, I think last time we met,